Yesterday, I sent Gordon from Marmalead an email about their new beta program, which I had been in there playing around with the new program because Marmalead just did a big update. And this is going to blow your mind and it's going to confuse you. Honestly, if you're used to their old system, this is going to take a little getting used to, but I'm very excited about this because now they're grading things. They're grading things that I thought were always important. See, I like this because they're basically doing it the way that I've been doing it for a long time. And the problem with these tools is that they have to go by what Etsy says is best practices for search. The thing is that Etsy hasn't updated their search, how to do Etsy search, how Etsy search works. They haven't updated that for like 5 years. So it's been years since that's been updated, but we know that in that time, Etsy search has changed, right? But if you're selling a tool to someone and you're telling them this is what you should be doing, and then they go over it and Etsy says, this is what you should be doing, it's going to be confusing for people. So Marmalade had been going along with what Etsy has said, but they finally said, listen, Etsy's a dirty liar. Well, they didn't say that. I said that. They said, Etsy isn't telling us the truth about what's actually going on in search. So we're just going to go ahead and we're going to rejigger this tool based on how we see Etsy search actually working. And yay. Okay, because a lot of the things that they used to use for the grading was the exact opposite of number one, how I've been saying to do this for years, because Etsy says that it works one way in search, but then they're doing something completely different. But since, you have to go with what they say, but now Marmalade has said, forget it. We're going to go with what we see Etsy actually doing, not with what they say they're doing, because it's not accurate. It's not true. It's not right. Okay. So I'm very pleased about that. And I used to say that I don't care about the grades, but I think the grades now can be very helpful if you're trying to figure out how to improve your listings, SEO. Now, I will say that I am not a Marmalade affiliate. I have never been a Marmalade affiliate. I don't earn a penny from recommending them, unlike a lot of people on YouTube who will say, use this tool because it's the best. And here's my link. Go get it because they're getting paid. I'm not getting paid. I have passed up so much money for not getting paid. I'm actually kind of stupid about this, but whatever. I don't want people to think that I'm only recommending this because I'm getting paid, because I'm not. Let's get that clear. Okay, so I'm very excited. Let's go over to Marmalade. I'm going to show you what they changed and what you should be looking at now when you go in, because it's going to look different and you're going to be confused. Okay, so just be aware of that and get ready, because this is going to be this is a paradigm shift. When you go into Marmalade now, they made this live last night, I believe. They made this change live last night. So if you've been in there yesterday or today, you may have seen this already. Now, when you first go in, there's going to be a little window that opens up that says, hey, things are different. Here's a little tour. So I've been using this and I didn't need the tour, but you are going to see that. So just get out of that. And this is what you're going to see now. Okay. The basics have not changed. Marmalade still uses a third-party tool. They use the Etsy API and other third-party tools to get actual Etsy traffic. The estimates of traffic and engagement, all that kind of things, are their best estimates based on all the information that they have. No third-party tool, including anything, is ever going to know everything that's going on the platform. But in my experience, Marmalade is the most accurate based on the statistics that I see in my own shop. And I have tried a bunch of these tools and I've told the people that own them it's not accurate. And they're like, yeah, we know, but it might get better later. No. Okay. So anyway, first thing let's look at is the grades, because I think that this is the part that's going to freak everybody out. And I've already seen that people in my Facebook group said, all my grades dropped. That's okay. All right. It just shows you what you need to work on. And the thing about a tool is you have to use the tool to decide what you want to work on and what you think is important for your own shop. When Marmalade was grading on the basis of what Etsy told us was important, I totally ignored the grades. I didn't care, because I knew that what Etsy was saying was not what they were actually doing. So the reason that you want to work on your SEO, and I have seen people say, oh, SEO on Etsy is dead. No, SEO is the first step to get into Etsy search results, which then they get ranked. But you have to have the SEO and the keywords in there before they're going to even consider including you in that search that someone has typed into Etsy. The first thing that's different, well, first, they don't have, this is all the same. You can look to see if your tags are missing in any listings. I'm missing tags, apparently. No tags in title. This is kind of a leftover. Like if it used to be that you had to match, and this was years ago. This isn't anytime recently, and this is one of the things that they've changed. It used to be that you wanted to match keywords in your titles and tags. Etsy hasn't required that for a very long time. I could see it. You can see it with your own eyes if you go to Etsy and poke around a little bit, but they're still saying that you do. Okay, so whatever. If you want to make sure you have all 10 photos, sometimes that matters, sometimes it doesn't. And when Etsy later, I think later this month or at the end of the summer, they said they're going to be telling us more about what factors into ranking listings, not just like the SEO part. It could be that the more photos you have, the better, but we don't know. But it's good to know which ones. And this says 450. I think I have 487 listings, it says. So of 487 listings, 450 do not have all 10 photos. Okay. So I might want to go in. I am doing one thing with photos. I should do a video about that. But this is just for your information. Okay. Now you have to decide whether you think 10 photos is important for you. It might not be. If you have a digital download, how many times can you take a picture of a printable, right? So you have to use your own judgment, and you do have to use your brain when you use any of these tools. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. You have to use your brain. Do not copy and paste exactly what any tool tells you to do. I did sell this one recently. I'm looking at this one that's a D, but let's go in and take a look at it and see why it's rating it a D, because the grades have now changed. 24 little edible green leaf ferns, cupcake toppers about 1/7 inch long, wafer paper cake decorations, edible ferns for dinosaur cakes. Okay, I think I can probably see a few reasons why it's rating me low. So first, I'm missing a tag. That's giving me an F. Okay, you need all of your tags to get a higher grade. So that's gonna rank me down. Unique keywords. I love this. Okay. Unique keywords on Etsy, like I said, you don't have to match the title and tag keywords. The title is important. That's always the most important part for SEO, for anything. The tags are there to support the title and to give the search engine more information. And if you have different tags and different keywords in the tags, then you're going to be found for more searches because it lets Etsy include you for more searches that include different keywords. Correct spelling. This says I've spelled 49 of 51. I would challenge that. And I think that a lot of dictionaries, like online dictionaries, spell things differently than is actually used for wafer paper. But I also know that people misspell things on purpose, or they just misspell things all the time. And so I put misspellings in on purpose sometimes. So I'm not worried about misspellings. I might check them out, you know. Unique tags. This is great. Unique keywords and unique tags. I'm looking over on the left. These are now probably the most important changes that Marmalead is going to help you make, because it's based on data on Etsy. This is not based on random Google searches. This is not based on anything that they're finding just randomly. These are based on the data that they're seeing searches on Etsy being typed in. Okay, so that's very important to understand, that this is all based on Etsy activity. This is not based on anything else. This is an Etsy specific tool. Having said that, I think that you could probably use all of this information on any e-commerce site where you're selling the same things, because these are searches that are specifically made by people who are shopping for something. So it's buying intent. They're coming in there. They know that they're on a shopping site. They're looking for things to buy. And I think that I would use these on my website. I would use these keywords on my website, basically. So this says that of the 13 tags, only 3 of them are unique, meaning they don't show up in the title or they don't show up in other tags. Okay, so that means that I have a lot of room to go in and add different words that are different, that could get me included in more long tail searches on Etsy, because now I would be giving Etsy different words that they could match me up to different terms. So how do I find those words? Well, okay, let's show the bonus grades. This is going to be very confusing. And for me, this was confusing. I went through this with Richie and Gordon from Marmalead, and I had a lot of questions. It's very confusing. Bear with me. The tight net searches and tight net visits are based on what you have in your listings now. Okay, so the tight net is just what you have in your listings now, and not what you could be found for if Etsy decides to add keywords to it. Because we've seen now that Etsy is not limiting you to the searches that are based on what you have in your title or your tags. So if let's say that you have, or let's use this listing, okay, because we're going to be working on this listing. These are like little wafer paper ferns. So maybe I put ferns, maybe I would put jungle cake, maybe I would put something else. But I did have someone write to me and say, do you have anything that looks prehistoric? Because I'm doing a dinosaur cake. And I said, well, these might work. And she's like, oh, those are good. Okay, so if I had the word prehistoric, which I did not in that listing, she might have been able to find them without having to send me a message. But because it wasn't in the listing, Etsy didn't include me in those searches. So my tight net is only based on the things that are in my listing now. So the tight net, I have 521 keywords that I could be found for based on the keywords that are in my title and tags. Because we know that Etsy bounces around and chooses combinations of words based on, what's in your listing. Now, the reason this is 521 and not infinite, because theoretically you could take my title and tags and make an infinite number of combinations, is because they're basing this on actual searches that they see on Etsy. Okay, so they're limiting it to what is Etsy specific, and that's the good thing. Okay, because you don't want to put things that they have a keyword for maybe that nobody searches for on Etsy. All right. Tight net searches, I could be technically included in 64,503, and tight net visits. And this is based on activity on Etsy. And tight net visits would be 104,797. Okay, so those are both good, but this gives me a C. And if I go in and do their suggestions, then it's going to increase it to this number, which is in the millions. And it's a lot, 282,000 keywords I could be found for and included in that first sweep on Etsy where they're looking for things to include. The wide keyword net is if, theoretically based on other things that they're seeing on Etsy, that's what they could do. So how do you get those? How do you figure out what keywords to put in to be included in this 282,000 searches that they're seeing on Etsy that they think would be relevant to this listing based on the keywords that you have in your title and tags now? Let's hit this boost SEO and see what happens. Okay, now they're doing a little calculation. This takes a minute. This is calculating everything that you could possibly see right now. They're casting the keyword net. 521 are what I'm found for now. I could be included in those searches. If somebody searches for those 521, my listing could show up for that. But what we're doing is we're looking for all of this stuff. Okay, so before, after, this is not as huge as it could be. But I've seen some listings where there's an enormous change. But the thing is that I'm pretty good at putting different keywords in that could get me found for long tail keywords. So I'm not surprised that this isn't a huge difference. But then this has a little analysis, and it says go ahead and change it to this title and these tags, and then you will be found for this many more searches based on what's found on Etsy now. Here's the thing where you have to use your brain. 24 edible wafer paper fern cupcake toppers for dinosaur cakes. That's their suggested title. I'm going to leave my title the way it is, and I'll tell you why. The title is the way it is. It says 24 because I want people immediately to know exactly how many they're getting. That's right up front. And I say little because people don't seem to understand that these are 1 3/4 inches long, which is again why I put that in the title. I want people to see that they're little, they get 24 and they're little right up front, because then there's no like, oh, they were smaller than I thought. Well, I probably still get that. But I structure my titles very specifically so that I put information that the customer needs to know exactly about it in the title. Okay. Now I do see that I could take some of the repetition out. This says wafer paper cake decorations, edible ferns for dinosaur cakes. I could go in here and restructure it and make it not as repetitive, because I have cakes here. I have cakes here in a couple times. I have ferns here a couple times. I have edible a couple times. So theoretically, I could take out this last section where it says edible ferns for dinosaur cakes and just kind of put that somewhere else. I have edible, I have ferns, I have cakes. I could put ferns, cupcake toppers, wafer paper, dinosaur cake decorations. I could rewrite it that way. I'm just going to leave it as it is for now because I want to look at the tags. The tags is where you're going to really confuse yourself, because this is exactly how I've been doing tags for years, because I see how Etsy is doing it, even though they're saying, oh, this is how to do it. I'm like, you're lying, because I see how you're doing it. Okay. So these are the current tags that I have here. These are the tags that they're suggesting based on searches that they are seeing on Etsy compared to the titles and tags that you already have. And sometimes these new tags are going to be completely different. And you need to use your judgment and decide if you want to change it that much, if you want to change it a little bit, or if you want to just copy this, you could copy this and just slap it right into your listing. I have been going in and editing these to take out the ones that I don't think are really 100% accurate, because you are going to be caught up in like searches for weird stuff. So I don't know, but let me look at these. Decorations, birthday. Okay. 1.75-inch Jurassic. Now, see, the 1.75 inches is in the title, so I'm going to take that out. But I think the reason that they put it here is because they took it out of the rewritten title. Okay. So I'm just going to highlight that and do that. And I'm not sure, when I was playing around with this, when you hit copy, after you edited these, it was still copying the old version. So I'm just going to highlight and copy it manually, but we'll see that in a minute. Jurassic, wedding cookies, fall. Are these really wedding cookies? It could be. I mean, you can decorate cookies with them, but see, this is where you need to use your brain. Okay. Yes, you can decorate cookies with these. Wedding, yes, because there are wedding themes like Enchanted Garden Wedding, right? So I'm going to leave that in there and we'll see. Macaron, I will leave that in there because people do decorate macarons with these. Little, they took that out of the title and put it into the tags, but I'm going to take little out here, and I might be able to combine something else. Now you'll notice that these tags don't make sense. This is how I've done tags for years, you guys. The tags don't need to make sense. How many times have I said that? Okay, so now I'm feeling justified. Thank you that somebody is coming along and saying, yeah, Etsy's lying and you don't need to have the tags make sense. I've known that for years. Okay. Forest, autumn, rustic, leaves, decor, about. I don't know where the about comes from, but what I'm assuming is that there is some kind of a search that they're seeing on Etsy that has the word about in it. And about might be a word that you need in your tags for Etsy to match you up with certain search queries, because Etsy ignores some words and they don't ignore other words. Like they ignore for, they don't ignore from. So I'm going to leave that about in there because I'm not sure exactly where that's coming from, but I'm going to take Marmalead's word that they are seeing searches that could be relevant to this listing, and it has the word about in it. Ferns, fern. Okay. Usually I have fern up at the top. I have ferns at the bottom. Sometimes Etsy ignores plurals and sometimes they don't. So I'm going to leave that in there too, because I don't care. Fern's party, long. What is the long? I don't know about long. I'm going to take this out because I don't know. Pops would be cake pops, right? Because I know people decorate cake pops with wafer paper ferns. Presentation. I've seen presentation a few times in the suggested tags that they've given me. I'm going to leave that in there. I don't know why it's there, but it must go with other words to make a keyword, because I have seen that a few times. Okay. Decoration, decorating, handcrafted, celebration. I like celebration because people search for celebration cakes. Handcrafted, I will leave that in there. Why not? Now, look, the thing is, these are ferns, right? I don't know. This could have been one of the ones that was missing tags, because at some point I'm just like, I can't even think of anything else to say about this, right? So I'll leave those in there, and I'm just going to copy. Oh, you know what? I do want to put prehistoric. I want to put jungle. Okay, so I can put a few ones in here. I'm going to put jungle celebration, and you can type into this box. That was my suggestion. Okay, so I'm going to put jungle celebration. I'm going to put safari, because I know that people use these for safari birthday cakes. What else? Wild. I'm going to do wild one because I know that people use these for wild one themed baby showers. And I'm not sure what tag that's going to fit in. Oh, here we go. Wild one, like for first birthdays. Wild one, Jurassic. That'll fit on one tag. So see, Marmalead isn't putting everything in that I would put in. So you need to go in and make sure, but they're just giving you suggestions based on searches that they see on Etsy that they think would go with this based on what you have in there already. I do want to kind of compare my old, and they are looking at your old listing. Okay, see, but I don't have Safari, Wildwood, and all that in here, so that's why they're not putting it in. So this helps me to go in and improve this listing anyway. Okay, so that's good. So I'm going to highlight this and copy it this way, because what was happening before I was hitting this and it was copying the original. Then I'm going to click edit on Etsy. We're going to go in here and I'm just going to go in and go boom, 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 because they're not taking things out. They don't want to take out all your tags. They don't want to take out all the keywords that you're found for. You might have chosen keywords that stink and are not getting you traffic. And I'm just going to paste these in and I'm going to hit, okay, so something is too long. We'll find out. Okay, so Ferns Party Pops Mini. Okay, I can take out Mini because these really aren't Mini. I'm just going to do that. And it still has one to go. Oh, because I took something out. Okay, see. Okay, so I'm going to do first birthday because that's the wild one is a first birthday theme. And I'm actually going to take out, let me add that in. And then I might take out handcrafted. I am going to take out handcrafted and I'm going to put baby shower because people do wild one baby showers too. Okay. So I'm going to put that in and then I'm going to publish my changes. And let's go back to Marmalead now and see if the grade has changed because I think that they're going to be, let me just update this. It might have to pull all of my listings in again. Gordon said that he was going to look at that to see if they could just update that one listing instead of having to pull everything in. But this could take a minute because I have a lot of listings. But basically, that's what it is. It's looking at Etsy titles and tags the way that Etsy is actually doing it and not based on what Etsy says they do because it's not accurate. And they're looking at data from Etsy, not data from Pinterest or other places. I am going to go in and look at some of the other tools in different videos, but I know this one has gotten long. So let's just wait until this comes up and then we're going to see what the grade for that one little fern is. Let's find it. Here it is. Now it's an A minus. Okay, so that's good because the reason that I ignored the grades before is because when it was grading things, it was looking for matches between the title and the tags. And if the grade was too high, it told me that there were a lot of matches. And that's not the way that Etsy works. But now that they're not even using that as a criteria, they're looking at variety of words. Much better. And the grades now I will pay attention to. And if I see something that has a low grade, that could be something I go in and work on. You still need to use your brain. You saw the process I went through thinking about other keywords, like things that were not in there that I wanted to put in there. This is a big improvement in this tool. And I mean, if you're terrible at thinking up tags, here we go. Okay. Because this is based on Etsy searches. It's not based on just random keywords that are being generated by some search engine or some AI that is just guessing. This is based on traffic on Etsy that they see. Okay. Give this video a thumbs up. Leave me any questions. And I'm going to be doing more videos about this new Marmalead update. Probably this week, but this is the biggest one that's going to confuse people. So I wanted to get that out there now. Have fun. Go get Marmalead. Have fun with it. And yeah, I'm going to actually pay attention to the grades now. How's that? Okay. I'll talk to you guys later.